Okay, so I've got a few minutes that I just wanted to quickly share something with you. Just, really diving deeper into using breathing techniques and our focus on what we want, the end result, to get us through times that are hard, difficult. Maybe we've got a lot of tasks on our shoulders. Maybe we're just overwhelmed in our life right now. Maybe we're facing something that causes a lot of anxiety, stress, depression, anything like that. And really using breathing techniques coupled with our focus on the end result to be able to get through those times. So yesterday, my husband and I went to an amusement park, and we both really love roller coasters. I mean, they're just so much fun. They're so exciting. They're so distracting, right? There's just so much to be thinking about and to enjoy about roller coasters. Well, yesterday, for whatever reason, I was just extremely anxious the entire time. Every single ride we got on, I was just extremely anxious before the ride started. And then as soon as the ride started, I was fine. But I really had to focus on, okay, I tell my people to use these techniques. I tell my children to use these techniques. Now here I am in this situation where the anxiety is so overwhelming for me. I want to focus on the end result. I want to focus on how much fun this ride is going to be when it starts and how much I'm going to enjoy this ride thoroughly. And then just focusing on those deep breathing techniques that, I tell everybody this works. Well, the experience that I had was amazing. Like, I was just so anxious. And just every single time I would start out a ride, focusing on the end, focusing on how much fun I was going to have, focusing on the breathing, and just really, by the time I get to the end of this, I am terrified right now, but by the time I get to the end of this ride, I am going to wish that I could do it over again. Not one time did this method not work. Every single time I applied the deep breathing and the focus on, I'm here because this is where I want to be. I'm here because this is my focus. This is where I'm going right now. And this was the interesting thing that kept coming back to me, was that sometimes life is like a roller coaster, right? Sometimes we have ups, we have downs, we don't know what to expect, and we're anxious, we're depressed, we're afraid of what's coming, or what we've experienced in the past, and we don't want that to come up again, right? And we're so anxious and concerned about the unknown. And I think the unknown is the thing that holds us back the most. And I think I've mentioned this in other videos before, is sometimes there's so much unknown. That unknown is paralyzing. And we're afraid to move forward. We're afraid to keep going. We're afraid to take a step in the direction that will really help and support us in our life. But it's just so hard taking that first step. It's so hard deciding what ride you're going to go on next. And there's so many great options. It's so hard to get on the ride and then stay on the ride. The very last ride my husband and I rode starts out where it lifts you up this tower, and the tower is dark inside. There's no light. So you enter this little cavity, you're drawn up this tower, and the ride's rocking back and forth, and you can't see anything. And then a door opens at the top. And when the ride starts, you almost immediately go over the edge and upside down, and then it kind of wraps, around. You go upside down in a loop, and then it's like rocking back and forth, upside down, twists and turns, and it's so exhilarating once you get to that part of the ride. But as you're sitting there waiting for the ride to start, you don't know exactly what moment it's going to start. You don't know how, you're going to get through that very first drop, and then you are. And then you're past that point, and then you're just going along for the ride, and people are screaming, they're laughing, they're whooping and hollering, and, exhilaration, because it's exciting and it's fun. Well, how many of you can relate that to your own life? How many of you can think that at some points in your life you felt like you were all turned inside out, upside down, rocking from side to side, unstable, hanging on literally by the seat of your pants, strapped into a ride that, maybe you do or don't want to be on. Maybe that's the very ride that you're wishing that you could get off, and you can't wait until it stops. That last time my husband and I went on that ride, and the person beside me was so scared. They were begging to get off right after we went in the tower, just like hysterical. Let me off, get me off here, get me off here, get me off here, like, get me off, I can't do this, like, just so terrified. And by the time the ride ended, like, they were so scared all the way through the ride. But by the time the ride ended, they were like, oh my gosh, I got through that. Oh my gosh, I did something really hard. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I made it. How many times do we experience that in our lives where we feel like, I cannot do this. I cannot get through this moment. Like, I have so much weight on my shoulders. This is so stressful. I'm so anxious. I'm so depressed. Like, I just cannot go one more day. I know I certainly have been in those moments. And I've been in those moments way more than I wish that I had been in those moments. I have been terrified, scared, anxious, depressed, immobilized by what's going on in my life and my emotions and my feelings way more often than I would like to count or share. And it's in those moments that deep breathing techniques, focusing on why you are where you are, focusing on the end result, focusing on how you're going to get there, is your lifesaver. It is that one or two things that are propelling you to get to where you want and need to be. And you can do it. I know it doesn't feel like you can right now. I know it's scary. I know that you want to give up. Don't give up. This is your life. I know right now might be really, really hard, but I promise you that if you can take some deep breaths, if you can focus on where you want to be in the end, I promise you that you're going to get there, you're going to be okay, and you are not going to believe how far you've come in a short period of time. Just some things to think about. Drop me a note, let me know if this was helpful, and we'll see you next time.